Konnichiwa, listener! It is I, Eric J. Chucci, and this is my Ai no Patona, the boy!
Wakana na baka da. Also, hey.
That's fair. This is a Two Nerds podcast, Udu. And, today we're going to be talking about anime. Because I wouldn't call either of us otaku by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But we do love anime as a form of media, and we've never really fucking talked about it.
It doesn't even really come up in any of our various other podcasts, so...
But before we get real deep into it, of course, we need to ask you to hit that like button if you would, please. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, share the video with your friends. All of that would make us super happy.
Also, before we get started, we want to take a moment to remind you to hit up Super Blizzard. His Shining Without a song, Let's Get Hardcore, is our theme music, and he does amazing shit like Joy Lancer and Long Live the Axe, which is super cool.
Yeah, maybe you'll get some gameplay of it soon. He also does the ending slate song for my gameplay videos, which is Shadows Over Hell.
Awesome!
Yeah! Alright, well, now that we're done being overexcited about that, honestly, what formulated this podcast was, that new Dragon Ball game just came out, Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Yep, that's what it's called.
Yeah, and it looks really cool, but I'm not into Dragon Ball.
At all. He actually kind of dislikes it.
I tried to watch Dragon Ball Z, but, recently, but I just couldn't get past, the first episode. When I was a little kid, I watched the original Dragon Ball, with the Cloud and the Pig, and, I could have been describing fucking anything. I'm describing Peppa Pig for all I fucking know. No, but it was Dragon Ball.
He's almost sure.
No, I am sure I looked it up. And my friends were always so into it, and then I met you, and you as an adult were still into it, and I was like, well, alright, let's check it out. And no. But then this game comes out, and I'm like, I really want to play this fucking game, because it looks really fucking cool, but I don't know,
he doesn't know from fuck in terms of Dragon Ball.
I mean, I have a passing knowledge that I imagine most nerds who aren't into comics would have of comics, for example.
Yeah, he knows what a Goku is. He knows who's a Vegeta do.
Yeah. But I really don't know much about it. So we were thinking, hey, maybe we could do a podcast about Dragon Ball. But with my lack of knowledge and boys tepid sitting on the stove for a few days' knowledge, I don't know if we could fill an hour about that, listener.
No, not really. It's been too long, and I'm too far removed from it. So we decided to see if we could fill an hour on anime in general.
And I think we can. I believe in us.
Yeah. We've got a little bit of a cheat sheet here. We've got some questions to answer about anime.
Because
to give us a little bit of a framework so we don't just ramble for an hour and waste your time.
Well, we will be rambling for an hour, but...
There'll be bullet points.
Yeah.
Bullet points are important.
Unless you had anything else to add, I say we get right into it.
No, I think the questions are a good starting off point.
Alright, question one. What got you interested in anime?
I actually looked at this question beforehand, and I had to Google this, if that tells you anything, listener. When I was 5 or 6, maybe, my parents had cable, through some means, and they, I didn't have a lot of oversight as a child, so I was watching HBO, and this came on. It was an anime that I literally couldn't remember the name of until I Googled it a few seconds ago, but it stuck with me because it is the first anime I ever saw, which I think is one of the later questions, so spoilers, sorry.
Oh, man!
But it is what got me interested in anime. One specific character in it, actually. It's Galaxy Express 999. From what I understand, it's terrible. I saw it when I was 6, so I
don't know about terrible, I just don't know how good of a starting point it is.
Yeah, it's very, very odd. And the character of Claire is one of the characters on it. Robot made of crystal. And the art style she was drawn with was so interesting, and her story was so interesting, that it got me, as a very small child, interested in watching other cartoons like this. I didn't know what cartoons like this were, but I tried to seek them out in the future, and it's what got me into anime.
That's really interesting. I've never actually heard that story before.
Yeah, it's just not something that ends up coming up in conversation a lot.
I think I'm going to like doing this podcast. I think we're going to learn a lot about each other.
That's new.
Friendship on the podcast days!
He's going to be doing that the whole time.
I really like my proud Japanese man accent. Thank you very much.
What about you? What got you interested in anime?
I had seen some anime before I was actually interested in it, and that'll make more sense when I explain my first couple animes I saw. But, as I mentioned, I went to high school during the height of Dragon Ball Mania.
Yeah, when everyone could draw Goku.
And that's the only thing they could fucking draw. Or
they,
Goku with a beard, as was
usual, to make him cooler.
It was also, the late 90s, early 2000s, so...
Beard, pouches.
little goatee.
Usually different hair.
All of my friends were really hard into anime, and I'd seen a couple of things at this point, but none of them were really interesting to me, and it seemed like the more my friends were into anime, the more they were ADD shitheads.
With little kids, you notice that correlation.
Early teenagers.
As I've mentioned several times on the podcast and in my personal life, I was a shithead as a child, so I can understand the correlation myself.
Well, I was a shithead, just for different reasons. I was the weird shut-in shithead. So. But, I didn't know if I wanted to be that guy, and because I didn't want to be that guy, I didn't know how much anime would interest me. I also went through a phase for a long time. You think I'm bad at this now. No, this is way toned down. Where if something was the least bit popular, I had to hate it.
You were just an indie kid before indie kids were cool?
Basically. With all the irony.
That's fucking meta.
Intrinsic to that. I didn't want to be like everybody else as a kid, violently. So I would go to great lengths and often deprive myself of cool shit just to not be like everybody else. And I mostly got over that. There's a couple shreds of it that remain, but I'm conscious of them and I actively try to fight them. So,
actively? He punches himself in the head.
Yeah, it gets violent. I wanted to take that joke somewhere else, but I couldn't find anywhere decent, so we move on.
I have no ending for this bit, so I take a small bow.
After some persuasion, one of my friends, Campy, if you're listening, convinced me to just sit down and watch Toonami one afternoon. And I did. And the show I saw on there, changed my life? Is that fair to say? Does that seem a bit too grand?
I'd say your life would be fairly different without it. So.
Gosh, yeah, I would too. It was very influential on me. Again, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to give away spoilers like the boy.
I'm just
fucking with you. I don't care. The listener doesn't care.
Fuck you. How about that?
Ultimate Dragon cares.
He is the listener. Well, they are one and the same.
He emailed me.
He
said, "Dear Minister Whitey," and then in parentheses, Eric J. Chucci, and in parentheses, he said, "I love the Two Nerds podcast. You guys are the best. Keep up the good work. But if the boy, parentheses, hey, end parentheses, would stop spoiling the rest of the podcast with his outbursts, I would very much appreciate it. Much honor and many championship titles, Ultimo Dragon."
Well, I'm sorry, Ultimo Dragon. I'll endeavor it in the future. You didn't think I was going to go with that joke, did
you? Question 2. What's your favorite thing about anime?
That's a weird one.
I thought it was an interesting one. I didn't take this from any one specific list. I looked up a bunch online and kind of gleaned the top ones, because it seemed like every anime quiz was also like a, tell us about yourself. What is your MySpace quiz?
Yeah, what does your original character not steal look like?
Well, and they were like every fucking other one I looked at was like a million questions about your waifu.
I do not have a waifu, thank you.
I do not have a waifu. I have a couple of things that are kind of close to a waifu, but not. I have a husbando.
You know what? I think I might too.
Me and my Gare Bear forever. No, but yeah, and maybe Freya Crescent from Final Fantasy IX. I'm so into her, but not like that. There's a good line. Got a fucking hour. There's a good solid line between I really like this character and I'm intrigued by their personality.
And my waifu.
My body pillow's coming in the mail.
Oh god, those are so fucking creepy. I try not to judge people, but those are disturbing.
All right, now here's where I draw the line. Okay, I like body pillows actually.
A body pillow is nice,
and I can definitely see the comfort if you're single or a really big fan of having a body pillow that looks like a character you're really fond of. It's a little sad, but it doesn't hurt anybody.
That's fair. That's fair.
But When you fuck the body pillow.
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
That's when it starts to cross the line into, do not know if want. No judgment if you do, really. I mean, what you do in your own bedroom is your business. It's really none of mine. Please don't tell me about it. And honestly, I think it's the fact that they often want to tell you about it that bothers me.
Yeah, if they didn't tell me about it, I wouldn't know this exists.
Listener, if you are the proud owner of a Dakimakura, more power to you. Don't tell me that you fuck it. Unless you really want to in the comments section below. So what do you like about anime?
I like... hold on. I need to take a second.
Come on, man. I want to make that a smooth transition.
Well, too bad.
To fool the listener into going like, well, I will then. Please note I made flailing typing motions there.
Yeah, all these visual jokes on our audio podcast. Super great.
Yeah!
Super great.
I'll add it to the subtitles.
White makes flailing motion. Use the font they always use for subs in anime.
Oh, yeah. The yellow letters?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing about anime, I think, is just... This is gonna sound really weird. It's the differences in culture. I actually tend to like anime the more ridiculously Japanese they are.
Really?
Because I am very, very Western. I am not quite America, fuck yeah, coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah, guy. But I'm not super far from that. So I really love looking at...
Would you say that you're like... that in a situation where it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you would be a man?
I would.
Okay.
I totally would. But I would take a stand. I would not... Damn it! You looked at me and I couldn't not. I really like looking at other cultures. And one of the things I like about anime is that it gives me this really neat window into Japanese culture. And I like how different it is, and I like how it's actually similar in a lot of ways. That sounds really like vague and douchey, but it is true.
A little gaijin, sort of.
Yeah, super. I am the gaijinest gaijin who ever died a jin, okay?
No, but I understand what you're saying. It's nice to have an easy window into another culture. We have that for a lot of things, and a lot of things aren't that different, but Japan is so differently turned from Western culture.
Like, I even like the BBC for the same reason.
Right,
because
exactly.
English culture isn't all that different.
No.
But I was watching earlier tonight the first episode of The Young Doctor's Notebook. And it's not the most British thing I've ever seen. That's old Doctor Who. But The Young Doctor's Notebook, despite being about Russia in the 1910s, is the fucking most British thing I've seen since old Doctor Who. And just the tiny differences in their jokes and their sense of humor and their sense of drama, it interests me. And anime's the same sort of thing.
On a weird, slightly related similarity, my favorite chapter of all the Harry Potter books is in the last book, Platform 9 3/4.
The train station
Yeah.
chapter, yeah.
Where, for the first part of that, J.K. switches from a very general style of writing to super fucking British writing. Like, when I was in high school, I read a lot of Terry Pratchett, and a couple of other British writers, but a lot of Terry Pratchett, because a friend of mine was like, keep reading this!
You just keep tanning him.
Well after I was done. So, she switched into that style, and like, it came flooding back all these memories. I love it because it's so masterfully, that's gonna jar anybody. You're gonna feel like you're in a different place as a writing technique, because you've switched tonality so violently. But at the same time, for me, it was kind of like a familiar, different place. So, like, that chapter has a really special connection for me. And it's because of those cultural differences in writing, in thought. They're small, but they're there. I think that's a really good, at first I was like, man, what a cop-out fucking answer. But no, that's really good. There's a lot of girth in that.
I also like the way they do action scenes, but that's separate.
Okay, right on. Well, As for me, I like anime because they're not afraid to be bad shit.
That is true. Western animation is usually a little more tenderfooted about that stuff.
Yeah, they play it safe, Not like, I'm not saying all Western animation is safe. No, far from it. But you're gonna find a wealth more fucking wackadoo concepts in Japanese animation than you are in Western stuff. I mean, again, I suppose it's a cultural thing because, a lot of their myths and shit are fucking weird.
From our perspective, yeah.
No, I think from any perspective, fucking weird.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but like the umbrella monster, that's fucking weird.
Look, I can't dispute that.
I actually had this book. There is an equivalent in America to a lot of the weirder Japanese myths. A big book of giants, monsters, and other mythical creatures, and dragons. That my dad got for me. And I used a lot of it for inspiration for cult stuff, but also it's just a fun read. And apparently, in America, in North America and Canada, well, the USA and Canada, excuse me, a lot of the lumberjacks have developed a pantheon of, like, fucking eldritch creatures that live out in the wilderness and do weird shit. Like Gaelic Fae style weird fucking creatures.
Well, you gotta figure they're not near civilization most of the time. They live in the woods. They spend most of their time in the woods, and the woods are fucking strange and scary, so you come up with explanations. Makes sense.
No, and I love it, though. I love it. Like, what an amazing little slice of, Americana, I guess? What an amazing little slice of culture. And I love the fact that anime will give us these little slices of weird-ass culture, whereas you're not gonna see... I mean, how many of you out there fucking knew about fucking lumberjack myths? There's a cat that's a cactus, and he yowls to try to get you to come toward him, so you get pricked on him, because he is a cactus cat. I never seen that in no cartoon.
Whereas
the Umbrella Ghost is like...
on their batshit myths, where possible.
I mean, beyond that, the animation being beautiful, which isn't always the case, but I love beautiful animation in any sense. So whether that's on Flash, whether that's hand-drawn, or whether that's Eastern or Western, I just like good animation. So anime has that going for it out the gate. But then also, they're not afraid to be weird.
Makes sense.
I'm going to go ahead and roll so we can trade back and forth here. What's your least favorite thing about anime is our next question. And I've actually been thinking about this all day. Because of where I am, because of my predilections being a bit different from the measuring stick of the norm, not a lot, but enough that I have a hard time just taking other people's word for things. And because of the process of getting anime over here, I have a hard time finding anime I actually like.
So your favorite thing about anime is that
No, my least favorite thing.
Your least favorite thing about anime is that it's hard to get a hold of?
Well, and not in the sense that it was like in the 80s and 90s where you had to get VHS tapes from your local cat attack. We interrupt this moment for fucking Nekobaka Gaijin.
What did I do?
Well, they're foreigners to Japan as well, as they are from the United States of America.
That's true.
Cats of Ohio, they are.
Yeah, you don't know Gogi.
He's a Bombay, so maybe India at furthest, but I somehow doubt that.
That would be super awesome.
Anyway, I hope the gratuitous Japanese is harmful to your ears, listener, because it's not supposed to sound good. Where the fuck was I? Right, it's not like it was in the 80s and 90s where you had to go to, Blockbuster or whatever and try to get a VHS copy of this or that, or you had to know a guy who knew a guy. I mean, anime is easy to get a hold of, but unless you've got the time on your hands to sit around and go, nope, 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 it's a lot harder for me to just get an anime, know I like it, and enjoy it, legally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult, especially for you, because you have you can't like go to a review site. You kind of have to watch it.
Yeah, basically.
It's not like if you like this, you'll like this. No, that's no guarantee.
Now, Tumblr has actually been a godsend. It's given me like 2 anime series so far that I really, really enjoyed. But that is not the fucking norm. And that's 2 anime series in a year since I've been actively on Tumblr, which were Saint Young Men and Princess Jellyfish.
Saint Young Men. Is there a question on the list that might address this? Because if not, if there is, I'll wait because I don't want to upset Ultimate Dragon.
Right, that's fair.
But if not, I want to cover that because I love Saint Young Men. And
I don't know. What would you?
I like that it's a tradition in our house now.
Oh yeah.
It's an anime about Jesus and Buddha going on a vacation in Japan for a year. I love it. It is completely a like slice of life, boring. Like not even a sitcom. It's a situational viewership. You just sort of watch this. It's not even all that funny, but it's so heartwarming that it's become a tradition in the Two Nerds household. Every year, the first movie we watch is Saint Young Men.
Usually on New Year's.
Usually on New Year's Day.
Because the movie wraps up at New Year's.
Yep.
So, I don't know, because we did it last year, now we did it this year.
And I plan on doing it going forward.
It's sweet. And the series is good as well. Not as... It starts to go a little off the rails. Not super crazy, but it gets a little silly.
Haven't seen the series.
There's a couple of jokes you're missing out on, but not... It's okay. I prefer the movie. Princess Jellyfish is super slice of lifey. I don't know that if slice of life anime is my favorite. It's just the 2 things Tumblr has given me in the last year.
I haven't seen a lot of other slice of life anime.
Princess Jellyfish is fucking awesome. It's about a bunch of shut-in nerds who live in an all-girls house, and one of them, who is super riddled with anxiety, befriends a transvestite, who then, like, starts hanging around with the girls and being friends with them, even though they're all like, you know, boy's icky. And, like, there's all this stuff with the mafia, and with, the transvestite guy's dad, who is, like, the governor or the mayor or something like that. And it's been a while since I watched it. And, following their dreams and saving the house, and it's fun.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's good anime. What's your least favorite thing about anime? All the boobs. You hate boobs?
Who hates boobs? My least favorite thing about anime. This is gonna sound weird. I love anime, but I don't know that I have enough passion for it to have, like, a ready-made least favorite thing about it.
Yeah.
I've got some pet peeves, and usually they're not even anime's fault. I don't like anime that... How to put this? I don't like changes in whatever form of anime I'm watching. Like, as an example, back in the day, there was a big change. In Dragon Ball Z, they changed the voice actors for the whole English dub that they, play on Toonami. I don't like that, but that's not really something about anime. I don't like stuff like that. If I'm watching a sub-anime, if I'm watching a subtitled one, and suddenly the subtitles just, fucking change how they're written, the font and stuff, that bothers me. But that's such a nitpick that I don't really know that I could use it for this.
Well, so it's, similar to my complaint, just in a different area.
Yeah, I don't like how hard it is to find high-quality anime. I don't necessarily mean, good original stuff. I don't like how hard it is to find, either good translation, dubbed or subbed, I don't really care, or, a terrible anime with great translation, one of the two. So I suppose it's very similar to yours in that it's hard to get part of it is that it's, finding good anime is difficult. For me, where I live and how much effort I'm willing to put forth, which is, to be fair, not a wealth. But I don't know that my passion for it is grand enough to have anything I hate the portrayal of X in anime. The portrayal of Americans in anime I often find really funny.
Oh my god. It was a hell of a lot funnier when I was a teenager. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to anybody. But there was a character in Ping Pong Club who was the token half American.
And he, always wore an American flag headband and had, stink lines coming off him because he smelled like gaijin.
And he was super huge. One of my favorite fucking things.
Kinda dumb.
Yeah. Like his introduction pose panel, or segment, whatever. He's doing, flexes or whatever, and he's like, my shirt says USA! Oh. It's an old joke, but it's a good joke.
And you know what else? I'm not actually a huge fan of shonen.
Yeah?
Yeah, thinking about it, full-on shonen series, both anime and manga, they're not really my thing. Alright, so next question. What series would you most recommend? In terms of anime. What anime series, mini-series, ongoing series, would you most recommend to the listener for their viewing pleasure?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally.
I'm not sure how qualified I am to judge that.
I didn't get the questions, motherfucker.
That's fair. This is only my fault.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with a movie.
Cheater, but okay.
I'll take Cheater. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
That's a good way to cheat.
Yeah.
Good way to cheat.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Definitely in the top 25. I can't remember. We did that list after Guardians of the Galaxy, so. But it's also my favorite anime movie of all time, which I'm not answering later on this list. I think it's got that weird shit that I love, and it's beautiful. It's got a decent story. Voice acting's fine. I don't think it's too weird to digest for somebody. It's not super Japanese. So, somebody who's not into Japanese culture already wouldn't have a big gap to go through. And it's just really fucking good.
Like fucking original Shin-Chan.
Man, I don't get fucking original Shin-Chan.
No, it's a bridge too far for me. It is too Japanese.
And they translated it for us into jokes that we'd understand, and I still don't fucking get it.
Alright,
What about you? Some Inuyasha?
No, Inuyasha's mediocre. It's not terrible.
No, it's not. I just wanted to make a joke and...
Let's see. Anime series I would say Dragon Ball Z, but, you've probably already watched it. If you are anyone who's likely to be listening to this podcast, you've probably at least seen a couple episodes. So what's another series of anime that I've watched that I really enjoyed? You know what? It was on Toonami also, but I hear people talk about it a lot less. I would recommend Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh yeah, you really like that.
I really love Yu Yu Hakusho. And it's sort of a shonen thing, I guess, but...
Yeah, I was gonna, say something about that, but I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about shonen in general to make a judgment call. That's a conversation I'd love to have with you in private when I can do research.
I haven't seen a lot of them myself. It's just the ones that I always hear described like that, with that term.
Yeah.
Very specific anime class, and not my favorites.
Right on.
It's like Negima and fucking Naruto, and it's just not my thing, man. But I would recommend Yu Yu Hakusho. It's, at least the English dub I watched is a really good translation from what I understand, or at least as far as I know, and it was a really interesting world, and a really interesting story, and cool combat, which is important in any anime where there's a lot of fighting.
I think we can both agree on this one. Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah! Full Metal Alchemist. I enjoy Full Metal Alchemist very, very much. So much so that when I was a teenager, one of my DMs actually made me a custom class. That's right, I was that kind of loser. Based around the Full Metal Alchemist style alchemy.
Aren't we all?
At some point in our lives, I like to think so. Mostly so it makes me less lonely.
Thanks. Welcome to Sad Nerds Podcast. I am Nerd. This is Sadder Nerd.
Blue, blue, blue.
Who's your favorite anime character, Sadder Nerd?
You know what? I don't know.
You don't know?
I kind of want to say, like, Jesus from Saint Young Men, because he's so happy.
He's such a sweetheart.
But...
Does that count? Because isn't he just Jesus?
I think he's just Jesus. I think that's the most American thing to say. Why do you like anime? I love Japanese culture. Well, who's your favorite anime character? Jesus.
That's like Wolverine from the Wolverine anime. He is my favorite.
No, I actually kind of hate that guy.
Oh, yeah, that anime was bad. Pretty but bad.
There's a couple I have really fond places in my heart for. I love Kuwabara, as you may have guessed from the Pokemon podcast. From Yu Yu Hakusho. I love Go-Go 13.
Go-Go 13's amazing!
I really have always enjoyed Vegeta. Let's be fair. But in terms of favorite anime character, yeah, that's hard, but I'd have to say someone from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah?
Yeah, either Ed Elric or Alphonse or Roy Mustang. Who is the balls cool, yes. Purely for how cool he is.
I just preferred Armstrong because of,
Well, yeah, because you would.
Because I would. I would have to say, my gut reaction says D. Because I fucking love D. As in the Vampire Hunter. I just was talking about it, but, or D's hand. But I don't know if that's a fair fight, as it were. The only other person I can think of whose character I really enjoy is Kuranosuke from Princess Jellyfish, the transvestite. He's a really cool, deep, interesting character with a lot of fun fluff piled on top. And I don't know, I can relate to him a lot.
I get that.
Next,
I think we both answered that, right?
Yeah, that was what's our favorite anime character.
Whole podcast, listener. Whole podcast.
We're actually asking now, what was the first anime you ever watched? In the interest of me closing this tab, I'll go first. So I can't remember. It was either Sailor Moon or Twilight of the Cockroaches. Which, if you've ever seen Twilight of the Cockroaches, that's putting your chin on your hands and going, and you kept watching?
Take it wasn't very good.
That's a weird fucking movie. There's a talking pile of poop in it.
That's not terribly weird for Japan.
I believe it was stop motion.
Super duper.
It was a allegory for war refugees.
An allegory for poop.
No, not the poop. The poop was some government agency, I don't remember. But no, the movie itself was an allegory for war refugees.
Fair.
It wasn't bad. It was just fucking out there. But I think it was Sailor Moon, and I remember it rather distinctly because it came on at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. or something like that. So I'd get up a little extra early before elementary school, and I'd sit in my stepdad's chair all bundled up and ready for school. It would be before he got home from work, and before I had to go to school, so I'd watch it. And
Fighting Evil by Moonlight?
Yeah, well, for some reason it felt like this taboo thing that I wasn't supposed to watch.
Yeah, I can see that when you were a little boy in elementary school.
Well, it didn't even have anything to do with it. It was for girls, because, I've never been super into gender definition.
Right, but it's also one fucking weird. If you think about it, it's weird.
Well, yeah.
And two, yeah, no, it makes sense that you, as a little boy in elementary school, if someone had caught you watching that, they would be like, "What are you doing?"
Well, but here's the thing. It wasn't like I was worried that I'd be caught watching it because it was for girls. It was because, I don't know. I don't know. It seemed like this alien being I had found. It was so fucking different from every other cartoon that was on in the mornings or the afternoon. I mean, I could have been wasting my time watching Mighty Max, and I was like, no, I want to watch this. And, I don't know what it was. I mean, like, later, I grew to understand that, oh, this is a girl anime for girls. And, I developed my own shit about it there. But, in that pure and innocent, time before the dawn, it was just sort of like this weird alien thing that I was, communing with. I don't fucking know. For all I know, the transformation sequence just made my pee-pee feel funny, so,
From what I understand, that happened to a lot of dudes.
I don't know. I can't tap those memories that fully. All I remember is being bundled up and watching Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask fight evil. Well, Tuxedo Mask fight evil, Sailor Moon fail at. And then I would get a message at the end about how to be a good person, sort of.
Let's see. Yeah, you already know my answer, listener. It was Galaxy Express 999. I watched it all the way through. It was super weird, but super interesting. And it was a couple years later before I found any more anime. But it stuck with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like now, 20 years on from that time, I don't remember it super well, but I remember the images, not so much the story, and I remember that it stuck with me, that it made me want to search out more stuff like this.
Right on. I think those formative memories are so much more important as feelings and emotions rather than facts,
I'm a facts guy, you know that.
Well, yeah, but I still, when it's something that's nestled back in your youth, when it's something that just helped forge who and what you are, the facts aren't quite as important in terms of what the show was, but, how the show made you feel, and what it inspired in you. Because if we're talking facts, Sailor Moon was shit and poop, especially the American translation.
Yeah.
I started watching the Japanese version again here about a year ago. And it was so much better. It's so funny. But, that's something else that's harkening back to one of the previous questions. I don't watch more anime, and I think this is the case for you too, because it's better when it's subbed, but it's harder to, it's more demanding to watch.
Because you can't, throw it up on the TV and then do something on the computer, which is what we both do a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably just browsing a website. I might be playing a game, but...
I might be clicking through social media and then, occasionally playing some League, but...
But you can't just, as much as both of us wanted to make it through Bleach...
We don't speak Japanese.
We still haven't, and we don't speak Japanese, and we don't have access to it dubbed, but do we even really want it dubbed?
From what I gather, no.
Yeah. That's something else, is sometimes the voices they choose for the dub make me want to punch fucking babies.
And... See, I don't mind subbed anime, but I don't mind dubbed anime, that is, but... I think that's because of my formative, years. Cause
I don't mind it either, but...
all my favorite experiences with anime, aside from Saint Young Men, have been dubbed anime. Because I saw them first.
Right.
And so I grew attached to them. Fucking use case. The main character of Yu Yu Hakusho is Japanese voice actor. Sounds fucking weird to me because I'm used to the American one.
Really?
Yeah.
I like it when they make it close. It really bugs me when it's very different or it loses a very important je ne sais quoi about the character. And this isn't something that's just specific to, anime. You alright? You dying? Alright. He's not dying, listener. He's gonna live. But no, I was recently doing some looking around on YouTube at what My Little Pony sounds like in other languages, and because I like language, I like linguistics and accents and stuff. And I noticed in a lot of other countries in the world, in fact, most of them, when they translate whatever voice actor they get to do rarity, it's like I can't think of any characters that have this voice. But it's a woman who sounds like this. But obviously there's other languages. Like, Germany, out of what I was watching, was the only one who got it anywhere near close to what it's supposed to be. Because she's not an over-the-top character. She's a, just fashion conscious. But everywhere else they went with that. I can imagine, much like us watching anime and seeing the dubbed version going, oh my god, what is with this character's voice? That has to happen in other countries. People are like, you gotta get the sub version because fucking sound like a weirdo. Character seems like a joke. So that was an interesting story I felt like I'd share.
Cool.
Are you alive? Are you some sort of revenant?
Yeah, no, it's... Look, I'm as alive as I need to be for the rest of the podcast.
Alright, we'll plug you in afterward. It'll be okay. So, what or who is your favorite anime animal?
That's a weird fucking question.
But, I think it's pertinent, because there's a lot of weird little animals in anime.
There is. But there's really only one answer.
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah?
Mine.
Right on. That's tough for me. Because as much as I'm not a fan of the show, I forget the name of the character, but the cat bunny from Tenchi Muyo.
Okay.
That's a fucking cute thing.
Yes, it's fucking adorable.
And then there's Kuroneko-sama, who's every time he shows up, excitement happens in Trigun. The giant manta rays in Bloodlust. Oh my god. It would be hard to pick just one. I'm gonna pencil in a very tentative Kuroneko-sama because he's fun.
Can't hate on that.
No, and he's one of those background characters that I really like, where it's kind of like a Where's Waldo sort of thing.
For me, before Iron, it was Master Roshi's turtle.
Right on.
Yeah. I love the fucking turtle.
Oh fuck! Maybe that turtle from Naruto. Oh man, fucking listener. It's coming soon, I swear. This year, I've been working so hard on it.
We should rent you Blizzard's TM.
Blizzard's TM, yeah. Rito's soon, but not too soon. Fucking... I watched the first so many episodes of Naruto, and there's a point near the end of what some website called a season. And if you've seen Naruto, you know what I'm talking about. But it's in the middle of a story arc, so I don't know if you could call it a season, whatever. But he's talking to somebody, and this giant fucking turtle shows up. And Naruto's like, "Has anybody else seen a giant fucking turtle?" Laughed my ass off. Because I had the same thoughts going through my head. And I haven't related to Naruto through this whole thing. It's he's a little shit stain, fuck this kid. Naruto, great example of me not wanting to listen to the English voice actor. Not that the Japanese one is that different, but it's enough of a difference that it makes all the difference. Here he is just "Has anyone else seen a giant fucking turtle?" Oh man. Good times. What about your favorite anime soundtrack?
Death Note.
Oh, fuck yeah, Death Note. Oh, Death Note's music was always good.
Yep.
Always good all the time.
Always good, understated when it needed to be, over the top when it needed to be, perfect music stings on I'll take a chip and eat it.
Oh, man. I was going to say something else, and I'm glad I didn't, because yours is totally better. Perfect. Excellent. I'll go first on this one, since I stole your answer.
Alright. Then I'll ask you the question.
Alright.
Favorite anime opening / ending, animation, and theme?
Princess Jellyfish. And the opening, specifically.
Okay.
The song is just cutesy, whatever. I mean, like, if we're talking about what opening song is the best, it's probably Outlaw Star. But,
I'd fight you on that one.
oh, Naruto's got a really good one, too, in the first season. And I think one of Dragon Ball's ending themes is really fucking good.
Yeah.
I mean, just, like, really fucking good. But, I don't have to, because the animation, I don't know if you've seen it. I'll show it to you after the show. If you haven't seen it, listener, just look it up. Fucking Princess Jellyfish opening. It's got all these cool references in it that you wouldn't necessarily expect from an anime. And it's just really fun.
I would fight you on best song, because the best song, I think, still is like either the Death Note opening music.
Oh, that's good too. Full Metal Alchemist has really good opening music too.
Full Metal Alchemist,
the first season.
But for my favorite opening and ending themes, animations, and such, it's actually a tie.
Okay.
Because I like them for very different reasons. I love the dub animation. I believe it's the ending for Dragon Ball Z. The fucking Dragon, Rock the Dragon Ball Z metal. Because one, that is a bullshit ass song that does not belong there. But it is so ridiculously metal and I love it. And it was beautiful when I was a kid. It was like, yeah, this is cool! But the tie is Rurouni Kenshin.
Okay.
Because the opening fucking cinematic for Rurouni Kenshin is the pinnacle of anime opening cinematics.
You showed it to me. Oh my god, and it is amazing.
It is, like, unrelated to the show. It is just fucking a field of cherry blossoms that they pan past, characters doing unrelated shit. The song is about nothing that's going on, nothing that goes on in the show. It's unrelated about a fucking lady going to a shopping mall. It is the pinnacle of the opening anime theme sequence. It is the highest point in the art form, and I love it.
I would also, in that case, like to add the American version of Samurai Champloo.
Yeah.
That song is just good.
That song is just good.
The little sequence is really cool, too. There's a lot of ending themes I've really liked, but they don't stick with me as much. Because they're nice and soft, usually. And they're like, you just watched an anime. Here's your favorite characters in different shades of pastel. Looking at the ocean. Forever love. And then like, Saban logo shows up.
It's Funimation.
Yeah, fucking Funimation.
Alright. I feel like we can't do better on that answer.
Yeah, pièce de résistance here. I've kept my fucking trap shut about it. What's your favorite anime series?
You first, motherfucker, because I gotta think.
You have to think. Okay, cool. I'll just sit here and gush. Outlaw Star. 100% hands down, still to this day. I've seen a bunch of shit since then. When my friend told me sit down and watch Toonami, I sat down and caught 40% of an episode of Outlaw Star, and I was like, this is the fucking greatest thing I've ever seen. It was the episode where they're on some planet, and there's like a bazaar of some kind, and there's a psychic cactus, and like Melfina's the only one who's not like getting from the psychic cactus because she's a robot, and everybody's trying to do things for the psychic fucking cactus, and I was just like, yes! All of this, yes!
Check, double check, sold!
Oh man, and I watched the rest of the fucking series, and I've hunted down the rest of the episodes in the meantime. There's so fucking much I have taken from that anime. I love it so fucking much, and I didn't want it again. Give it to me again. Death Note was great, don't get me wrong. Fucking, I mean, Bleach looks really fucking good and all that shit, but fucking...
Just, yeah, like, alright. Here's my problem, listener. Spork. Perhaps you can help me with this, listener. You might be able to help me, but I highly doubt you can hear me right now, as I know that this isn't currently on the internet. So, here's my problem.
When I upload this video, one of the listeners is just going to be like, I'm waiting. Copy, paste. I got the answer. Because one of our listeners is telepathic.
Oh, well then, stay out of my head. Charles, stay out of my head.
I'm thinking about boners. Uh-oh. Oh, now they're waving.
Super. My problem is that my gut instinct is to say Dragon Ball Z because it's the first anime series that I was really into. It is very formative for me in terms of my taste in anime. I still think it houses the single best anime fight scene.
You know, that was a question that I cut from the list, and I didn't mean to. I meant to smush favorite and least favorite thing together. Best anime fight scene. Before you bust your nut, go ahead and get that out there. Which one's the best?
The best anime fight scene in existence, as far as I'm concerned, and I will fight you on this if you need, listener, is the fight between Goku and Majin Vegeta. That, I think, is a perfectly told story, like a really, really good wrestling match. It tells the story, both through the characters' actions and what they actually say, of the characters up to that point, all their character development, how they feel about it internally, and how they want to proceed from here. Goku is actually a very static character in it, which is okay, because it is a beautiful fight scene, a beautiful bit of character development for Vegeta. Add to that, the animation is really top-notch, the fight is really intriguing and interesting, and until the very end you don't know who's going to win, and it is a great culmination for one of my favorite characters. So, I don't know that I'm entirely unbiased, but I still hold to the opinion that the best anime fight scene is that fight scene.
I love all of the animes that I've talked about loving. An anime I'm not so fond of is Naruto. I don't hate it, just not so fond of it. But the greatest fight I have ever seen in any anime was in Naruto. I made you watch it.
He did. He made me watch a Naruto
I
scene.
don't know if you could even really call it a fight. But it was Zabuza with the knife in his mouth. I'll leave it at that. If you haven't seen it, look it up. Spoilers, but look it up.
But for my favorite anime, it was, like I said, Dragon Ball Z was super formative for me, but there are many other anime series I love for very different reasons. I love Trigun.
Trigun is really good.
I don't think it's up there in contendership, but I do love it. I love I love Rurouni Kenshin for the story, and some of the fight scenes in it are amazing.
I am going to get hit in the head by Dai if we don't, at the very least, mention Cowboy Bebop.
Well, yeah, no, I mentioned Cowboy Bebop earlier.
Did you?
Motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I realized that he might materialize at my house and fucking lightning high kick me in the face, and I don't want that to happen.
But yeah, no, I love Cowboy Bebop, but it's just that's a hard fucking question. I think I'm gonna pencil in Dragon Ball Z for now, but I don't know, dude. That's a complex answer because there's a lot of different animes I love for very different reasons. It's kind of like, what's your favorite movie? I can answer it, but I would need to sit down and make a list.
I think it's actually more like, what's your favorite TV show?
Yeah.
Because picking your favorite movie, you're sifting between, at most, 3 hours of effort per entry.
Right, whereas, the television series are hundreds of hours of your life, so picking your favorite TV series is hard, dude.
And maybe you really like Buffy, but maybe you really hate season 4 of Buffy, you know?
Maybe you really enjoy Castle, but like this most recent season makes you angry. Or, for instance, you like Bones, but past a certain point the show gets too stupid.
Yeah, so it is really hard. Anime has the benefit of usually only being 23, 24 episodes, 26.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's hard to pick a favorite child. Outlaw Star. There are others that are
also good,
but
Outlaw Star.
Rising is the ginger king among them is Gene Starwind and his fucking amazing Gunamagoo.
So that was the last question, right?
That was the last question.
All right.
We wrapped this up in a timely fashion. I want to say again that we aren't otaku. We're not huge anime dudes. We're not fucking weebs. We love anime.
If you want to be a weeb, that's your business.
I'd honestly like to be a bit more of one. Oh my god, I want to watch that anime about that polar bear. He's got a coffee house.
Say, what, motherfucker?
There's a fucking anime about a polar bear and his friends, and they live at a coffee house, or he works at a coffee house, or some shit. Oh, it looks fucking funny as hell.
The polar bear owns a coffee house, you've got my attention.
I saw my little penguin over there, my penguin buddy, Bert, who has psychic powers, telekinetic. He moves stuff with his mind. He doesn't read minds.
He has a very rich internal life, he does.
He reminded me of the penguin in that series because they're the same species of penguin. So I was like, oh, an anime. And Angelic Layer is a dumb little kid fun anime, but it's not as weedy as Pokemon, or I don't know about Digimon. I can't really talk about that. But
Digimon's surprisingly hardcore.
Deep, yeah. I started to say something about that, but I have no room.
I watched it, a couple seasons of it as a kid. It's surprisingly deep.
Angelic Layer was fun. I had a really good time, and I would play the fuck out of that game.
That's fair. Now that I think about it, there are so many things. You know what we didn't mention any of in this conversation about anime?
What's that?
Any of fucking Miyazaki's work, really.
Miyazaki?
Yeah, Miyazaki.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to avert the comment flood. I mean, yeah, Miyazaki. That's his name, and that's how you pronounce it.
Stop trying to comment, bait people. I'm the troll. But yeah, Miyazaki. We haven't mentioned any of his shit.
I like him a lot, but none of his stuff is my favorite. I mean, like for me, it's animation porn with a whimsical story.
What about like Princess Mononoke?
Well, okay, it's less whimsical and more like grimdark whimsical, but Grimm's fairy tales are still fairy tales.
Don't worry. I may have mispronounced the name, and I apologize for that, but he will be beaten for this after the podcast.
No, I don't mean that in any bad way. I mean, the stories are great. Like, a Disney movie stories are great. But, real talk, how many fucking Disney movies are in your top 10 movies?
Well,
you don't get to count Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, like a fucking Disney princess.
Oh, you know what? No, you said Disney, motherfucker. Disney owns Marvel. It's like 8 of them, okay?
You know what I fucking mean, though.
I do.
And it doesn't mean they're bad movies by any stretch. It doesn't mean they're subpar or substandard. It's just not your favorite thing. Aladdin's one of the best animated movies I've ever seen, period. But, there's some other shit. I mean, it was something formative in my life, and it helped me build who I am, but I still wouldn't put it up there.
I feel like this is a bad example because although none of the Disney movies are in my top 10, I, to this day, have Disney songs stuck in my head at least part of almost every single day.
Well, and I would say that to that extent, Miyazaki's animation is never not fucking gorgeous. I don't care how many times you watch any given sequence, it's still fucking
It's still,
stunning.
like, jaw-droppingly good.
The attention to detail. Look, I don't want to watch... Well, I kind of want to watch Ponyo, but not that much, because I don't want to listen to that little girl, because I hate children in the first place. That one especially is kind of annoying. But it's so fucking pretty! It's so damn pretty!
But it's so pretty, though.
Oh my god! And it's a cute story. It's a sweet story. It's a simple story, but a complex story.
Howl's Moving Castle is a pretty weird story.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm trying to think of any closing thoughts for the podcast.
Well, and I started to, and then I got distracted by the penguin. We're not big ol' anime nerds. We like anime, but more as a vessel for media to come to us. And as we mentioned, listener, we have a hard time finding anime we like. So if you want to tell us about your favorite anime, I know this is more comment bait, but really, let us know. Because not only will you put comments...
There's a difference between asking the listener to participate
they know I'm just
and
fucking
being
with them.
purposefully wrong to fucking
They
bait
know
them.
I'm just fucking with them. Unless they don't, and then we get free comments. Seriously though, if you have any recommendations of anime, I'd love to hear it. We do plan on finishing Bleach. I told you about Polar Bear Cafe, I think is the name of it. I plan
Seriously?
on watching that. I think Polar Bear Cafe.
That's
I
awesome.
want to say. That's the name of it. And I've heard good things about Soul Eater.
I heard good things about Attack on Titan. Doesn't mean I'm gonna watch it.
Oh fuck! I haven't heard any good about Attack on Titan. I heard a bunch of people going, "Oh no, it's the greatest thing ever." Why? You just have to watch it, man. Not an answer.
Oh.
If you cannot come up with a single concrete reason as to why it's good, and your opposition can come up with 1,000 reasons why it's bad,
then it's not very good.
Yeah, I think that wraps it up over here.
Yeah, I think we'll catch you next week, listener.
Yeah, even though we are both fucking idiots and don't know shit about quality anime.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, we have probably just insulted all of you.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many white faces, like, slightly jittering as you type at your computer.
You son of a bitch! You know nothing. You watched the dub version of what? I'll kill you dead!
What did you say about Mizuyaki? He's my hero. But this has been one of the more fun podcasts.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I hope you had a great time listening to us, listener. It's the only thing you know how to do. So, yeah.
Why are you putting that on the listener?
Oh, well, they're not commenter now, are they? Oh, I went there.
Shots fired.
Prove me wrong, motherfucker.
But until you do, everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!